And so what do you think the future holds for Afghanistan?
I think there'll be now a period of relative peace. The Panshiris, the kind of the renewal of what was the Northern Alliance, which fought against the Taliban during its previous reign in Afghanistan and managed to prevent it from taking the north of the country. The Panshiris have pretty much been, I think, crushed by the Taliban, according to some rumours, and I don't know this, there are any rumours, with assistance from Pakistan military, which is beyond possible, because the Pakistan military basically created the Taliban and enabled the Taliban to achieve what it's achieved today. But with them out of the way, maybe they'll regenerate themselves, hopefully, and become a thorn in the flesh for the Taliban. I hope they do. But at any rate, there will be. I would anticipate there'll be a period of relative peace for maybe a year, 2 years, because the country's been at war for a long time. They actually do, even with the Taliban, they want a degree of stability and relative lack of violence. They won't get it under the Taliban, but that's what they want. And then I think we'll see, maybe in a couple of years' time, or maybe even less, one or more uprisings against the Taliban in the country, and we'll see some kind of, maybe civil war is going a bit too far, but certainly some kind of resistance against the Taliban happening. And meanwhile, we will see a very repressive government, journalists being whipped for reporting on, demonstrations taking place in different cities, people being executed, Taliban going to door looking for people who were working for the British, working for the Americans, who worked for the last government, who were doing human rights work, anything like that, going around, rounding them up, dealing with them. We will see, women not allowed out of their houses without the male escort, without being covered head to foot, girls and women not really being educated. They say, they can be educated in accordance with Sharia law. We know what that means. So that's going to be the country, and it'll probably get economic support from some form of economic support from China in return for allowing China to plunder its resources, and in return for as much stability as the Taliban can impose.
And when you see everything that has happened, and you served in the military, and you, I imagine, have had friends who have lost their lives, does it make you feel that those servicemen have lost their lives in vain, for nothing?
No, it doesn't. Far from it. I think, what we shouldn't forget is the reason we went to Afghanistan. We went there in 2001 in relatively small numbers, with the US in also relatively small numbers, and together with this Northern Alliance that I mentioned, defeated the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and then there was the resurgence. But we went there to get rid of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, particularly Al-Qaeda, who'd carried out 9/11. That was the reason. It was a counter-terrorism mission, to make sure it didn't happen again. We stayed, and we discussed before whether it's right or wrong to stay. We did stay, and we stayed for one reason. We stayed to prevent Afghanistan from again becoming a safe haven for terrorists from which they could attack the West. We achieved that mission. And the British soldiers and American soldiers and other soldiers who were killed there died protecting British citizens who would otherwise have died by terrorist attack launched from Afghanistan, and citizens of allied countries. So that was it. It was a success in that respect, in the terms of the pure mission. It was a sacrifice that was necessary and worth making. And I say that knowing many soldiers who have been killed there, and the families of many soldiers who have been killed there. So I'm not saying it lightly, but I do not believe that their sacrifice was in vain. People talk about different missions when we were in Afghanistan. For the whole period, the missions changed and shifted. And is it to counter narcotics? Is it to give women's rights? Is it to enable girls to go to school? No, it was none of those things. It wasn't any. Yes, of course, all those are advantages if you can achieve them. But the mission was to destroy terrorism, not to put women on equal footing with men in Afghanistan, desirable though that might be.